Hey everyone, this is Ruan. Welcome back to another video. I get the question asked often, how do I get more customers for my business? And I just want to share with you guys probably one of the coolest tools that I've found recently that allows you to tap into something called audience intelligence. Now, if you're not familiar with what audience intelligence is it's basically the principle of doing social listening to your audience. Now, this is really important for anybody that's targeting a verticalized type of business model. So you're targeting dentists, you're targeting roofing companies, you're targeting plumbers, you're targeting anything that's verticalized and you're selling the same thing to that business over and over again. And so in this video, I'm gonna show you an example of how we would use this tool called SparkToro that was actually created by the founder of Moz, Rand Fishkin, on how you can get better audience insights into your vertical so you can break in and start following the podcast that your vertical follows, watching the YouTube videos they watch, reading the blogs that they watch, so you can make better outreach and advertising decisions based off of that. And I'm gonna show you in real life exactly how we would go about this, and you can use this tool for your own sake, for your own vertical that you're targeting, but I'm gonna show you how we would use it for our most recent target, federally qualified health community centers. And we're gonna find out every blog that they read. We're gonna find out all the podcasts that they go on. And this is good because it creates sponsorship opportunities for our company. It allows us to start engaging with these other blog masters and these other podcast hosts and potentially build relationships without having to do all of the hours that we would normally spend on research. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump behind the laptop. I'm gonna show you SparkToro. I'm gonna go through some of the best practices to find the easiest way to do the data and ultimately just provide you with a really quick tutorial on how to get better audience insights. Okay, so as I was saying, the goal here is to understand and gain insights into the audiences that your potential customers are listening to. And this will ultimately help us in creating brand products, develop marketing techniques, or reform your entire audience strategy. And so the tool that we're going to be using is called SparkToro. And this tool right here basically allows you to pick on this little tab right here the different ways that you're looking to search inside of the actual database here. And this is going to allow you to find a really nice looking report that looks something like this, and basically tells you everything that audience is engaging in. So before doing this, it's pretty important to understand some of the best practices that you can use to actually start these searches. Now, inside of SparkToro, they actually have an article that talks about what are good posts and what are bad searches, I should say. So for example, SparkToro is good at finding examples like real estate agents, and because they use those words in their bios or profile texts. They're good at finding snowboarders because they talk about snowboarding, people who live in San Diego because they often put information about San Diego on their website. Now, it's bad at finding specific demographic information, and this really isn't what this tool is about. There's so many different tools that do demographics anyway, so I'm not really interested in doing this. My data can tell me that anyways. But finding men between the ages of 19 to 35 is a bad example. People who own homes, particularly blood types, this type of information, more sensitive information, generally isn't a good idea to find with this actual tool. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you an example of a search that we made and how this can benefit our company overall. So with FQHC, which is the acronym for Federally Qualified Health Center, that is an example that only people inside of that business model understand that. And so with that being said, let's go into the data a little bit and talk a little bit about how we can use this tool to better our sales processes and to better our sales in general. So the first thing is audience insights. And this is really nice because this allows you to discover additional search ideas for those people. And generally speaking, in their bios, they use healthcare center, healthcare, community health, and health center. And this will generally give you some good keyword phrases to really start thinking about for when you start talking to these audiences. And community health is really my big takeaway here because it is a community health center. Healthcare is very broad, but generally speaking, I was able to find a golden nugget. So when I communicate with these people, if I were to do any type of marketing, I can refer to them as community health. So that was a really good find. Now you can actually click on see all audience insights inside of SparkToro, and it's going to give you a lot more information in terms of the behavior, the audience confidence, audience size, and obviously breaking this down, the audience size is generally the size of the social profiles available on the web. The similarity, meaning the degree of shared characteristics, who they follow, who they talk about. This is great, homogeneous, because that means that the data is going to be very accurate in terms of what SparkToro is going to recommend. The audience confidence, and this, I would guess, is the confidence between the data that SparkToro is able to gather. And you can see that you can even see some of the frequently used words and phrases: patients, medical, access, healthcare, risk, patient, impact, communities, healthy, hospital, right? And this is really good because when we do our site designing process, we can actually start to figure out what are some of those key phrases that their industry is starting to use. So this can also be really good as a content marketing tool, because if I know that people inside of this industry are referring to patients, I'm not going to use the word customers on the website. If they're using the word access, I'm not going to use the word granted on their website. If they're using the word risk, I'm not going to use the word potentially bad or some type of phrase like that on the website. So this is a really good way of doing it, and you can even see the different types of hashtags that people are using, as well as the city level geographic distribution, and you can see that New York is big, which is where we're closely located. The different types of social media profiles, so I know that if I'm using, if marketing or doing any type of advertising, I would want to target Facebook, and as well as Twitter, and all of this great information. Going back to it though, let's take a look at some of the different audience reads, watch, and listens to. And this is kind of what I'm really excited about, only because I want to get to know the different types of websites that people that are in this field are looking at, the different types of social accounts they're looking at, and how can we use this to our advantage to get more and more results in terms of outreach. Now you can see that a lot of them engage with a website called modernhealthcare.com. And if you open this up on a new tab, you can actually visit this website and go and take a look at it. And you can see that people are advertising on this website. So this would be a good call for us to run Google display ads for our product and service on this website. And another really cool thing about this is it's not going to show you just one website. It'll show you all of the different types of websites that these social profiles are actually going in and taking a look at. So a lot of these are government websites, but a lot of them aren't. Like this is healthaffairs.org, right? So if I search this website, healthaffairs.org, and I go on it, and if it's a topical type of website, you can see that there are some sponsored specific links on here, right? So, and there we go. I can even find a podcast right off of the bat just by looking and doing some very basic research. So this podcast right here, which seems to have only 4 episodes, and it looks like it's pretty brand new, and you can see that they're talking about some of the stuff that a lot of these different federally qualified health centers are talking about, how new pediatric programs take root. Education is the only thing disrupted, where a child grows up shapes their life. So this is more specifically towards, child's healthcare, etc. But pediatrics is a key component to federally qualified health centers. So this is good for me to go in and just basically start this relationship building. Now, what's even cooler about this is I can go in and I can take and start my search on LinkedIn for the different contacts that I want to find. So as an example, Alan Wheel here, editor-in-chief at Health Affairs, now I can start to build a relationship with Alan through LinkedIn, have a new connection, and this, Alan has a large connection, it seems like, in the community healthcare specific realm. So this is how you find these niche relevant people through that, by using the website section of SparkToro. Now also, you can see that there's different YouTube channels that they engage with as well. And I can go in and I can see all of the different type of YouTube search results. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important for several reasons, right? If you're running any type of YouTube advertising, now you know which channels to target. If I'm going to run YouTube ads to try to promote our digital marketing for FQHCs, I'm not just going to target broad, random advertising verticals. I'm going to try to go focused. You can see that 22% of this audience that I was just talking about likes this NACHQ YouTube channel. And so when I go to this YouTube channel, I can see that this is a community organization, and I can target this YouTube channel to run paid advertising if they allow for paid advertising. And in the About section, after doing some basic research, I was able to find this organization's website. And what's really cool about this, for just doing basic audience insights, you can see that they have a become a member section. So you can become a member of this actual association that is specifically for community healthcare centers, and I can explore the corporate membership option and start to create a digital strategy or a physical strategy to connect with the potential health centers that we want to connect with, right? And so that's where SparkToro becomes very valuable when it comes to YouTube channels. And there's so much more in terms of podcasts, right? Because now we can tune in to the specific podcasts that our potential customers are listening to. So the HIMSS SoCal podcast, you can see that this podcast in specific gives a complex world of healthcare information technology. So this would be a good podcast for us to build a relationship with and then potentially get listed on this podcast, because digital marketing is information technology at the end of the day. And so by doing that, we are now getting in front of our entire audience of people that we potentially want to target based on our goal for targeting federally qualified health centers. Now, inside of SparkToro, you can also talk about different things. So it uses these words in their profile. So let's say I wanted to change this, right? Because this was telling me community health. Let's say I wanted to change this to community health inside of the search bar, and I wanted to search for different types of people that were involved inside of this vertical and start to create a strategy to reach out to these people. So what I can do is I can click the search button here, and really, really quickly, almost like really fast, honestly, I'm very surprised at how quickly this tool picks up this data. I'm going to be able to find 11,000 profiles that have this keyword tag inside of their profile. And what's really nice about that is you can see all of the different types of social results and different profiles that people have. And if I click this right here, I'm going to be able to find a lot of these different community health places that talk about this information. And I can do this for research. I can do this for advertising. I can do this for marketing. I could do this for basically anything that I'm going to find the data on. Now, as you can see, I'm still on the free trial because we're still testing out this tool. But I was just really excited to present it to everybody because I think it can be very helpful using this for research, especially if you're doing any type of verticalized marketing. Now, and also you can take a look and see people that frequently visit a website. So if just for fun and games, I'm going to type in Develomark.com and I'm curious if they have data on this. I'm going to click search. And I'm curious to see if they have any data on this because I want to see if it's picking up. So it doesn't have, let's go to overview. It doesn't have match on this website, my website, specifically Develomark.com, probably because we don't have enough search volume. But you can also see there's several different ways to search. Now, what's cool about it too is you can even add a location. So if I wanted to find people that frequently talks about federally qualified health centers and I wanted to do Connecticut, right? And I wanted to search, SparkToro is going to give me the data of localized people that do that. And so it's not going to give me a lot of data, as you can see, but you can see that the social results are showing up. And that a community health center, CHC1, is a relevant website that people are going to in this field to talk about this type of stuff. And you can see that this is an actual health center. So prospecting becomes a lot easier when you look at these different types of websites. Now, this site right here is done very nicely. So this most likely wouldn't be a target client unless they reached out to us. But you can see these different types of companies inside of here, CT Health Public Association, and you can start to really understand what's going on inside of your vertical by looking at a all-in-spectrum approach. Now, this website looks like it would be a potential customer of Develomark. The site design really isn't that great. The locations, let's take a look at how they're doing this. But generally speaking, you can kind of tell where we're going with this. If our focus is in this vertical and we want to search who's mentioning this in our location, we can quickly find so much information inside of this actual search. And with this being said, I encourage you to try out SparkToro. We by no means have any affiliation with them, but it's very useful for doing verticalized research in your area. And there you have it. So that's how we're going to be using SparkToro to get better audience insights into pretty much everything that we do. And I encourage you to do the same thing. So thank you everybody for watching this video. I'm going to post the link down below on where you can sign up for a free trial and take a look at it. And we'll keep you updated on how successful we are using this tool in the near future.